Hi there, this is Kate from the Journal Nest, and I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you are well. Thank you so much for taking your precious time to join me right now. And I do really want to say that this has been an incredible few days for me. I am just 1 week home, and to be home and in your nest is always a wonderful thing, but more so than that is to have the company of amazing, strong makers around you and to actually gather around the table in real life, shoulder to shoulder, has been my joy this week. So, this is the second night in a row. It's a little bit earlier because we didn't go out to dinner tonight, but I have been at the Green Door Studios, and part of the reflection at today's workshop was about the power of YouTube to unite us and how this online community can supplement the real world for us. So we celebrated many things. So as I said, um, in fact, the story is, and I did tell it to people today, my life changed forever when I walked into the Green Door Studios earlier this year. In fact, at the end of February, I met um, the women of the Green Door, as I'm going to call them, and hosted by Zoe, and we are beyond um, beyond blessed. I think we're realizing that not all of us have this opportunity. So I share this video with that sense of it's a shared experience, and I hope that those of you who can't be with us in person feel the love and feel the communion of us makers together. Okay, so third day at Green Door this week. First open studio yesterday with Beck from SoBe, and it was the collage workshop. I made a video about that, and this work continues to progress. Haven't got to the zipper yet, but loving the layers that are coming about. I've done some work on my crazy looking flower, and again, so many said to me today, isn't it beautiful when we make? It's about the weight in our hands and feeling the textures and the layers. So I don't know. I worked on it this morning before I went out to the studio, so there's probably some embroidery now starting to happen to join the pieces together. But so that was yesterday, and then lo and behold, today we got to do another workshop with Beck, and this time the focus was on the Anita book. But I just wanted to show you what I've come home with. Like, these are my nests or vessels, thanks to Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. So Rachel and Sarah, you continue to rock our worlds. And I'm finding these, look at that, they're just so squishy and squashy. And for me, this is my colourful series. But to go out this morning with this as not an empty vessel, but taking my favourite things and then to add to it during the day has been a fantastic experience. So here's Joyful Pouch. And again, a shout out to Sandra and Carol, who have shared with me their joyful pouches. I want to do a special shout out to Christine or Chris, who I met today in the flesh, another subscriber. And oh my gosh, your making is incredible. So I'm humbled. I really am. And that's why I'm so seeking ways that we can all share our works even more. And I did say to Helen, who has flown down from Queensland for 2 days of Beck workshops, it was just such a pleasure, Helen, to meet you and to know that, and well, just to see you work so yeah, so beautifully and be inspired. And I think that is the whole purpose. Now, someone said, "What's this?" My son Zach is staying with us tonight. He went to Japan a few years ago and bought me this charm. It goes with me in every handbag. And today I got out there and it just appeared. And again, is it Kate's Colours? Of course, it's Kate's Colours, but it's the love of family that goes with me. So Beck gave us needles. We could select our fabric. Jane across the table, Jane of the Pin Tucks, said, "Would you like this?" To a number of us, that's going to be a piece that I treasure. Beck had these beautiful wools that we could use in our needlebooks, threads, etc. So that is a nest of absolute joy. Judy bought me, oh gosh, I can never remember what this is called. No, I can't. Solvig. So I'm going to use that for my first ever tracing. So thank you. This is a doily I bought last night, etc. So why am I showing you all of this? Just gather your bits and pieces. That's my adage. This is from Beck as well. As part of the kit, I've never had hot pink cotton and I used it a lot. So that's my nest at the moment. Crocheting from Little Woolies, all of these things. Oh, that's my scissors. I needed to find them. Okay, so let's get on to some making. I think I've got enough. I will move this aside. Oh, voila. Speaking of what we've been doing, we have been working with the amazing Beck from So Be. It's a store in, well, So Be, is that what it's called? The shop in Newcastle, Quilting Fabrics, and Beck makes these beautiful textile stitching packs. So I did purchase one at, oh, I didn't even flip it over, and look at that. So I've come away, I actually thought that this was a hero piece for me, this gingham with a stitch on it, because we were reminiscing a lot about what we used to sew with. And this is Zoe's that I got when we went on a little bit of a hunting and gathering trip last night. I've left some bits in here. So Zoe's, so go online, everyone, if you're interested. I just totally endorse these amazing women who every time you step into a space, you get more inspired. Okay, so what am I doing? I don't need those. I want to show you what I made today under Beck's guidance and the influence of the amazing makers around me. So today was the vintage needlebook workshop, and I know Beck will be running these closer to her home, but a quick share. She gave us a pink box with things in it, and then it was an open table to go over and select fabrics, doilies, whatever you liked. So after we started at 10 and finished at 4:30, this is where I'm up to, and I was sitting beside the amazing Sue, who is an amazing artist and a painter, and she made her first needlebook today. So well done, Sue. Tears in our eyes. She was amazing. And as we were putting the pages together, I said, I call these doily pages. So we think of the needlebook as a book. And actually, I need to pause and say, my journal subblies, do not think I have deserted you. I have so many bits of paper and journals on the run here, but these 3 days this week were just stitching as a priority, and I will be in touch soon. I will film over the weekend with some updates on the paper. But for now, and I totally understand if you don't want to watch this, but it is my journals, I suppose, in squishy fabric form. So doily pages. This is a Zoe doily, a button out of the vintage kit, a piece of beautiful fabric that will form the wrap, a Beck doily. This is blanket out of Zoe's kit, and last night we picked up some vintage pieces from the Cheese Factory in Robertson, and I got 3 placemats, I think, with these flowers on it, very, very cheap. Judy was sitting beside me, and she had these beautiful roses that were crocheted, and I thought, let's put them on, and some French knots. I will stitch, I just thought I'd do a bit of a context. So page after page is a collection of hankies. I think this is wool, it's not felt. I don't know much about the difference, but this was one of the doilies that Beck had with her. I've made that into an edging. Here's the same flower from the same placemat, and I have put that onto a vintage piece of fabric and turned that into a little pocket. If I had little scissors here, let's just have a little pretend with this. Yeah, big enough to keep things in. They won't be the scissors, but playing around with those ideas. Doily, and I've stitched this up a little way, so again it could hold something in it. This is, we did have a giggle that just since I've come home from San Diego, I've gone 3D. I don't know what I saw that influenced me, but I am loving, in the Field Notes series, this idea of, so this is a cutout piece of vintage fabric, a little bit of stuffing in there, and that will be a great pin cushion. Can't see any pins around though. This is the center page. It's this beautiful pink wool, some of Beck's yo-yos, and I've kept this open as a pocket. I'm going to continue to cantha and maybe make some circles here, we will see, but it's also got this bump that I can, oh, here we are. Okay, big announcement. I will be teaching very, very soon how to make this pin cushion. There's the pins going into there. I like an integrated pin cushion or a separate one, depends on where you are stitching. There's a time for everything. You can never have too many pin cushions, and typical Kate has just already trapped her scissors in that thread. One of the things at the Cheese Factory was that Beck found this amazing bonnet that was covered with these beautiful, they're like velvet flowers, and we thought we could all have a flower out of that one bonnet and still some left over. So that is something that I will treasure and always remember this week because of. So as I've shared many times, I like, if I get something, if I purchase it or am gifted, I like to incorporate it into my work straight away. So that's that. Covering up there, doily. This piece isn't done. Want to make a pocket. Bit of, this is orange trim out of Zoe's kit. Here's the same placemat series, crochet, hanky. So this is today's progress. Still a lot to be done, so I'm going to sit down and chat and stitch with you. At the back, the other side of the blanket, and here's the crochet. So what Beck said, and it's great advice, and I think we all should always remember this: when you're making a piece, the tactileness is, and look, every single one of us ended up making a completely different piece, and that's what we celebrate, don't we? But how do you know when it's enough pages? You like our journals and like our signatures. You feel it in your hands and it speaks to you. So this is my quite thick needlebook, and we're just going to do a little bit of stitching right now. And the first task Kate has is to get those little scissors out of there. I've threaded this up, and let's just find somewhere to stitch in the needlebook. I do realise that this is too solid. It's a beautiful coloured crochet, but I'm thinking about doing all sorts of things on this, but it hasn't come to me yet. So when that happens, let's just wait and it will jump into our fingers. Love that as a single page. This flower forms no function, but of course this needle, this blanket is so beautiful that you can put your needles into it anywhere. This needs to be sewn up. This edging is in progress. I'll take that needle out for the moment. That pocket's done. This is nearly done. What's this? Well, this is a pin that I was demonstrating with. Let's just find a spot to start. And I think we might start with this. So this is a piece of hanky. It's probably glittering in your eyes, but I found it just so beautiful. I love this edge here. But I think I'll have to sacrifice that edge, tuck it under here, so that this again becomes a pocket. Now, what are we going to do with these pockets? What are we going to put into them? I don't know yet. But you can never have too many pockets. Now, if you have noticed that I don't knot and I don't go from the back, and that's just part of my style. I love the tatty edges and the scrappy look. And I'm certainly not advising people to ignore tradition and what they've always done. And for me, it's just part of that natural thing when I sit down, and I think the wear and tear on this pocket is not going to be huge, and it may even just be for decoration. So how has your day been? I'm hoping it had moments of happiness and laughter. I said to Zoe this afternoon, I said, listen to this table. Like, often after lunch there's a lull because we're tired and we've eaten a beautiful meal and we feel like a siesta, but none of that today. It was totally buzzing is probably the best word. I was delighted to hear that some of the ladies who had come down or travelled to us from all sorts of places weren't going home immediately. They'd chosen to make it a real break. And truly, for us who love our slow stitching, what could be better than 2 days of stitching, a dinner in between, a bit of shopping, and then time to go home and look at your making, look at your treasures, and just go, wow, that was great fun. Okay, so this is a little pocket already, and because I had this ribbon here, so I'm having a little rushed dinner, I had this ribbon here, and I'm thinking I could, instead of just doing running stitch up here, do a blanket stitch. And Missy and I were talking. Missy made this. Sometimes blanket stitch, you just go, which side do you start? This may not be. I'm getting the loop not exactly where I need it, but hey, it's decorative and it's holding it down. So I'll just continue. So it almost looks like a bit of a crochet stitch. Sorry about the shadow. I better just check. I haven't stood up once tonight. Yeah, you should be able to see me. Sorry, it makes it rock. Very primitive setup here, especially rushing to get it in. I do actually like that effect, and it's the variegated wool. This is the little Woolies 4-ply wool that I actually bought to crochet with, and I've decided that I need to get the 8-ply to crochet with, and I'll use the 4-ply for stitching. I mean, truly, as I reminisce, I was just thinking then of the work around the table I've seen over the last 3 days at the open studio, and it's such a thrill for all of us to see each other's work and, you know, be in the safe space. And I suppose we were talking about how do we see photos of each other's work and about the girls challenge. So it is Field Notes has come out with the next prompt, which, would you believe it, happens to be a nest. And Kate of the Journal Nest couldn't be happier. But I've never stitched a nest. So I'm so looking forward to that. But we were talking about the Facebook page of the girls, Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, and that, you know, you can get so many ideas. And even if you don't use them yourself, just by looking, I think our brains go, and they store away a good idea. I know what that's for. Okay, so there we are. I've done running stitch down here, very naive and messy and wonky. A blanket stitch facing the wrong way down there, but actually I like it showing up, and just a running over here. And we're going to use this opportunity. I will do a double stitch to reinforce, and then we can go over here, because I've already got some stitching here from the pocket, and so we're going to take this up, and I can hear you saying it with me. How far are we going to go with this thread? That's right, until the thread runs out. Kate's gone quiet because she's just loving the feel of this needle going in and out. And as Chris and I talked today, like there is nothing more calming than the most simple of this, which is to put your thread down and out, or up and down, whatever you call it, just so. And because people told me they didn't mind, I'm going to actually send special blessings to Sarah, different Sarah, to Roxy Sarah, but Sarah in Melbourne, thinking of you, loving your work, can't wait to meet you in October, and just to just to know that we're all sharing these combined experiences is beyond joy. Here we go. So the thread is still going, so we're not going to stop. And I do love on this pink, it's new for me. I think it's wool. I should have asked Beck, but it's different to felt. So soft. Just anchor this little star point as we go past. And keep stitching. So we've got 2 lines of basically running stitch down there now. A little bit puckery at the top here, but soon smooths out. There we go. And see, I didn't even think that that stitch, because it's only a single layer wool, would be coming over on this side, but I love that. They're happy, they're not even accidents, but that's a happy result for me, that we're framing this page in this threads in our way to starting to stitch down this. So that star is going to tuck into that pocket. I've got this to sew on. Isn't this the most beautiful piece of crochet? I just looked at that and thought it's got my favorite raised petals, but in this beautiful design with bits down here. So let's change color. Beck had these beautiful threads that we could also use. This is a straight hot pink. Oh. All of a sudden my eyes are feeling tired, and yes, it's a challenge to thread the needle. But we're not giving up. There we go. So this is a little harvested flower from a piece of embroidery that was just a single standalone one, and it sort of had a I don't know whether it was sort of a ship or a windmill. So I just made it round and we've gone from here. And I'm thinking that I'd like to sort of feature a bit of stitching. So let's do rather than just you've seen some of that running stitch, let's see if we can do like an over stitch. Okay, we'll try and be neat. It's making a crackle, so I just leave that there. And we did talk about the fun of, you know, starting a piece and then letting it rest and not, you know, feeling that we had to finish it straight away. And that, you know, we can be using this straight away as a needlebook, but at any time if the right piece comes our way, and certainly those of you who know my work know that sometimes just a particular flower will jump across my table or out of a nest, and I'll go, that's where that belongs. So look at this, it's not perfect. I'm trying to be regular, but in the naive style, it's the imperfection. Yep, see there's a new word, imperfections, imperfections that make us wonder about the person who made it and the story behind. So I can only blame much excitement, tired eyes, and the thrill of talking non-stop for 3 days while a little bit jet-lagged to make this interesting round of overstitching. So I actually have got quite a list of videos to make. I'm trying to help you all by using playlists more so you can start and see things in a logical way. When I was a new YouTuber, I just called everything Kate Stitching to Stitch or Kate Can't Stop Stitching, but I realised that it may be, you know, when you want to follow a series, like some sort of playlist and numbering system is more useful than that. So thank you for being patient with me as I learn. And I'll have a new chance to start fresh and refine that when I do my crocheting playlist on the weekend. I am very excited. I've got some, I feel excited for many reasons. Is that I could do a sneak peek, but I'm not going to. And as I said, just to my paper journal friends, this is just one of those weeks. And I know when I was traveling, it was the same. Not as many videos, but I will get back to my regular pattern as soon as I can. crazy and messy, and that is fine, because now I'm encountering crocheted edge. Not as easy to get through. Cotton is, let's see if we can get some of those kinkies out. Just thinking then about laughter. My husband and son are watching a funny show, and I can just hear them both laughing from here, and that's what the world needs, isn't it? Back in the day where Reader's Digest were out, my parents subscribed, there was a little section called Laughter is the Best Medicine, and after laughing many times today, I feel that that is absolutely true, and how blessed we were together and laugh. All right, I will probably put something over the top of that. These are hanging by themselves at the moment. Where's that pin that's sticking into me? No. See, I might even make that a little envelope. Who knows? I love that sticking up there though. Okay. As I said, this is quite a solid colour, and I'm getting so used to variegations that something will happen to that. And I don't mean in a bad way, I just mean that I will refine it. And you know, look how fast that time has gone. So rather than go on and start something fresh, let's say that this has been a celebration of an amazing set of workshops at the Green Door. It's always online, so a number of you have been asking about my traveling scissors, so just check that out. This is Beck's store. She also, I think she sells online products in the workshops, adding the textures. Today's not finished, but so much joy. So from me to you, I want to say thank you for spending time with me. As Chris we were talking, and it is about the company, it's about the sharing, and it's about knowing that we are never alone in this community. So sending blessings. Until next time, I'll be making some more videos soon. Bye for now. Lots of love, Kate.